It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
I'm in 0.5.
Hey guys, Jason again, along with my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios, and this is Code 0.5.
Yes, it is.
So on my way down here today,
Huh?
my daughter calls me.
That's usually not good.
Yep. So I'm, well over halfway here, and she goes, "Dad, somebody's knocking at the door." Okay. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, this is like typical calls I get while I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's knocking at my door. Okay, who is it? Oh, I don't know. So you didn't answer the door? It's the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No. Is there any cars outside?" "No." "So someone's just knocking at the door." "Yeah." "Okay. It's most likely a neighbor, so just answer the door and see who it is."
Well, and I can see her because y'all are kind of out there. So,
well, she goes over and answers the door, and one of our neighbors is standing there, and he was like, "Hey, is this your dog?" And it's my corgi.
ooh,
And she looks and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And there's like, she's red around her neck, and you can see where she's bleeding. And the neighbor was like, "Man," he goes, "is this y'all's black dog?" And he pointed over, and I think it was in some taller grass is where this dog was at. And Hannah goes, "No, that's a stray that's been hanging out, and, we can't get it to go away," and stuff like that. And the guy goes, "Well, I had to pull that black dog off of your corgi."
oh, he was that close to it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And he's like, "It was pretty bad." Well, we've been trying to figure out what's been happening because it's like a lab shepherd mix.
Mhm.
He got a cut around his neck one day.
mm.
And then a week goes by and one of our other corgis got the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then mine this is the second time that she's been, bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's this damn black dog that's been hanging out.
See, that ain't no good.
And I'm like, holy crap. So, Tasha, she's, neither one of us were at home. So Tasha goes back home and she's doctored her up. So, I guess the neighbor that walked, down to our house, our corgi, called in at the sheriff's office
Mm-hmm.
and was like, "Hey, there's a stray dog that's been around, and the dog's attacking other animals and all this. What can I do about it?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the guys I work with are like, "Hey, if there's a stray animal coming around and is attacking, your dogs or livestock or anything like that, you can protect them." So when we get done here, I'm going to go back home and protect the shit out of my corgi when I get there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
your corgi's a G.
Yeah. I've had her for, I can't remember, but she's like 8 or 9 years old now. And she doesn't get around like she used to. And then there's this dog that's doing this. So,
Yeah, no, can't be having that.
so yeah, that's how my day starts. So if I'm not as upbeat and, laughing and stuff like that, it's because, I'm kind of pissed.
He's formulating a plot over here.
Oh yeah.
You guys can't see this, but he's drawing diagrams, something to do with a box and a stick and a rope. I think that's a can of dog food he's got drawn. Hey, we'll post it so you guys can see what he's got going on. It looks like a good plan, though. I think it's going to work.
But, yeah, so hopefully, and get the neighbor on board and that kind of stuff, and we'll just start some militia there around there. And,
Oh,
but the same dog, this is the dog like Tasha. I don't know how many chickens she had, and I know we had 4 ducks and some guineas, and this dog was able to somehow get inside this fenced area and has killed all of our chickens.
oh, that dog's a bastard.
And this is a second neighbor that's around us that's called in and says, because we've got another neighbor that has chickens, and he caught this dog in the act of killing some of his.
Nope.
But nobody will shoot it. And it's like, come on, you've got to. I haven't been able to, okay, there it is. Here's, whatever I need to and put a stop to it. It always happens when I'm not around.
Like, I remember you were talking about it that one time, and it's like it knows you can't do nothing if it's in a certain area because there's like,
yeah, because I'm not going
to
shoot at that dog, to save a chicken and jeopardize other people's property or other people. You have to be smart about it. But holy crap! I mean, I don't know where it came from. And I wish I knew who it was, because whoever owns this animal would be, taking care of vet bills and replacing chickens and all this other stuff. But
definitely,
and it's got to be somebody dumped the thing around there. And now, so I think somebody's feeding it now, because it was like skin and bones. So that's why it was killing chickens, was to eat. But all the chickens are gone in the area, and I think there's somebody around us that's got putting out dog food and stuff for it. And if you start doing that, well, now you become the owner of this animal.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I had my experience with stray or, wild animals today, and I heard you had experience with one too.
Yeah, that one was is a little different. So I got a call from dispatch. It's my on-call weekend, and I got a call from dispatch, and she says that this is like first thing in the morning, like 8 a.m., and she says that RP is at their church and that somebody has destroyed the church. Somebody's vandalized it. And I'm like, oh no, nobody steps on a church in my town. So I'm getting around and getting dressed, and I'm telling Holly, I'm like, nah, we ain't having this. This is not going to be cool. Like, that's a hate crime. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not doing that. Of all the things I could do. So the more I think about it, the more I'm getting pissed that somebody would do that. So I get over there, and Central told me, I felt like horrible, because Central told me that the lady was bawling like on the phone, and the dispatcher even sounded like she was brokenhearted for her. She's like, oh, she's crying so bad. It's like, all right. So I get over there, and she comes out of the church, and I'm like, so first off, like, walk me through what you're doing, like what you guys, how many people have been in here? And she's like, well, just my husband and me. It's like, okay. I was like, so was the door wide open when you got here or what? And she's like, no, it was locked. I was like, okay. So I start checking for pry marks and stuff, and I don't see nothing. Like, all right. So we go walking in, and I get pictures of like the bottom of her shoes. And I was like, I need to get pictures of the bottom of your husband's shoes so we can differentiate, who's been in here. She's like, all right, well, let's start looking around, and there's like random ceiling tiles busted out. It's like, okay. Well, the way it's set up, you had like the pulpit was in the front, and then there's two pianos kind of at an angle, of course, pews and stuff. And like I said, the ceiling tile is busted out kind of over the center of where the pews are at. And then if walked up the left aisle, there's a piano, and there was it looked like something exploded over there. And so I'm like, dang. I get over there, and I'm taking pictures and stuff, and I look down, and there's some kind of brown stuff. And I was like, do you guys let dogs in here? And she's like, no. I said, you guys don't bring your dog in here or anything? And she goes, no. I was like, okay, well, I got to ask. And she's like, why? I was like, well, that looks like it's some type of dropping. And this over here that's exploded everywhere is foam. And so I was like, that's really weird, that those two things. And I start looking around more, and it, like, right there back behind the piano, it's like the carpet, what do you call that? Like the floor trim, baseboard.
Yeah.
Baseboard was ripped off. And it's like the rubber kind of roll baseboard. But anyway, that stuff was ripped off. And I'm like, what the heck? It looked like something was like digging at the corner over there, because the carpet was all frayed and there was holes everywhere. And I'm like, nobody lets animals in here? Nothing? And she's like, well, no. And I start looking around up at the pulpit, and there's this Fender amp that's sitting there, and it's like a pretty good size amp. You know, it's got two 12s in it. So it's pretty good size. It's pretty hefty. Cover's still on it. Foot pedals sitting next to it. I'm like, why would somebody just bust in here and then like not take anything, just come in here and tear stuff up? Well, one of the sconces on the right-hand side of the room was like brought down, tilted down. So I'm like, damn. So I go through, I was like, you know what? I'll be right back. So I go to get a flashlight and I start looking around, and sure enough, on that sconce, there's some hair. And I look down on this other deal that's kind of right next to it, and there's hair on it. And I looked up at the ceiling tile in the center that I noticed when I walked in, and it was like bent off to one side. But on the other ceiling tile that's next to it, there was like a scratch mark. And I looked at this lady and I'm like, this is going to sound crazy. And she's like looking, just looking at me. And I'm like, I think animals did this. And she's like, animals? Really? Seriously? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was like, and the reason I think that is... And we went back over there to where all the foam and stuff was. And I was like, that's droppings. And she's like, yeah. I said, but if you look over there on that sconce that's all bent, I said, there's hair on it. And there's hair next to this, And so I start showing her, and she's like, I just don't know. I was like, well, ma'am, I'm pretty sure. And as I bent down to pick up some of the foam, I look on the piano, and there's handprints. Little raccoon handprints. And so I shine the light on it, and I'm like, there you go. And you could count the toes. And I start looking underneath and on the pews and stuff, and they had gotten dust on their feet, so you could see the little handprints everywhere. I'm like, this was raccoons. And she's like, oh, well, I'll be. So then her husband walks in, and she goes, it was raccoons. And he immediately gives her this look like, really, woman? Seriously? And he's looking at me like, this is the best you can come up with. Like, y'all are that lazy. You don't want to work this. It's raccoons now. I'm like, no, seriously, come look. And so I show him everything, and he's like, well, I guess you're right. Especially after the handprint, because I was pretty damning right there, and then, it was pretty interesting. I thought that lady was going to laugh me out of the building when I initially told her that. But,
well, I saw earlier you sent me a picture, and I looked, and I was like, why is he sending me a picture of a turd?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to looking at the text messages, and you were telling me about the call, and then I'm looking at the little handprint right here, and I'm like, yeah, that's a raccoon.
I've got another one from on the pew. This was initially the first one I found.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
And I was like, nah, and that's about the time I was like, I think this was raccoons. And the look she gave me was like, you're dumb.
Yeah. It's like, really? Are you like what the guy said?
Yeah.
Are you really this lazy that you're just going to say it's an animal?
Yeah. Well, and
no, but come look.
I popped some gloves, and I was like, well, I mean, and two, there's some droppings over here. And he's like, I don't know if he just whatever, but anyway, I had to pick up freaking raccoon droppings and I had to show him. I was like, look, you see this here? This is clearly an animal's here. But apparently I found out from some people that used to like live in that area that because they're remodeling that church. And somebody was telling me that there used to be like a family of like 9 or 10 of them that like hung out around there for the longest time. So you could watch them all night. And I'm like, well, they're still there. So I contacted animal control. I helped them get everything cleaned up. And then I called our animal control guy, and we're going to get some traps and try to get them trapped in the part they're still remodeling and not in the deal. But man, if they'd had a camera in there, I'd have loved to have seen that footage.
Yeah, but the best part of the whole story is, didn't you take the raccoon at gunpoint or something?
Oh, yeah. I was able to locate the suspect.
Yeah.
And I took him into custody.
Yeah, I saw the picture that you got there of him with his hands up.
Definitely. She said she wants me to make sure he's prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay. Yeah.
But he wasn't alone. I was only able to get one.
Oh, he wouldn't tell you who the other one was?
No, he ain't talking.
We'll have to make sure that we post some mugshot of him.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I had a church get broke into before, and this was actually broke into by a person, and it was cold as hell in the wintertime. And we go through and search the building and actually find the guy in there. The church didn't want to do anything about it, but it was cold as hell that night, and he broke in to find somewhere warm. And we found him curled up asleep, and he'd found something to use as a blanket and all that. So, yeah, the church didn't want to do anything about it. They just, wanted us to get him some help. So he ended up, I think, Salvation Army was when he went.
There wasn't a bunch of damage or anything, was there?
Just to the door from where he got in, but no. You could tell that he didn't have any kind of intent to steal stuff or anything. But, I mean, he did break in. But
Yeah, that sucks.
But, yeah, we'll make sure that we get his mugshot posted.
Oh, yeah.
And then hopefully he won't be out anytime soon.
No. I don't know exactly what the bond is on it, but I'll have to check on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, how could he pay that?
Oh, they got hands. Work.
They like to pick
together.
up shiny things. So
Yeah.
he might have some jewelry or something.
Maybe. I need to go get a search warrant for his nest. Imagine what we find in there.
You'll go in there to do that search warrant, and don't call me when they start tearing you up.
Nope. Sending Renix in.
Because I ain't coming.
Yeah, Renix is our tack team. Send him in there with his helmet and everything.
Yeah, speaking of Renix, did you make sure you pulled that door shut?
I think he's busy right now.
Okay, good. I don't need him coming in and killing the mojo.
No, he is a mojo killer. Mojos and little Debbies. That's what he kills. Can't have nothing nice around him. But I did have another kind of crazy one that happened this week. No animals, but it was pretty good.
All right.
So freaking, I had there's a lady that used to reserve for us. And so she calls me and she's like, "Do you have a metal detector?" I'm like, "What?"
Was this the day you asked me about one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was trying to
okay.
figure out where yours was at. And I was like, "What? I don't. Like, I think maybe my buddy does. I mean, I can call him. Why? What's up?" And she's like, "Well, my daughter was at the lake out here, and she was trying to take a selfie on a rock, and she slipped and went backwards into the water, and she dropped her phone. And so this phone was apparently underwater all night. It's in a life-proof case. I can't talk today.
There you go.
But it was in that. And so I'm like, well, how deep is it? I'm thinking like maybe just like right there off the, right off the bank. Can't be that far. Like wade around in it and try to find it. And she's like, no. So I holler at Public Works, and our Public Works guy, he has one for locating like gas lines or something. Anyway, so I go out there with it, and they show me where she fell in, and this water was deep. It was like somebody like had dug it out because there's a drainage ditch like right there. So it was pretty deep. I was like, crap. So I got this metal detector, and it's going off, and I'm like, man, the only way really to do this is going to be to like get something and try to like drag everything within, like almost a 6-foot radius back towards the bank and get it back up here. And so I call Renix, and I'm like, dude, grab a rake from the shop and come meet me out here. And he's like, what's up? How long is it? I'm like, we don't have like no 10-foot rakes, Renix. We just need whatever we got. Like, we don't really have any specialty tools for that. But there is the water department has this machine. It's a jetter machine. So it's like a water rooter thing they use for pipes. Mm-hmm. But they've got this long handle. I mean, it's long. It's longer than our tables here. So it's probably like a couple feet long. And it's got a shovel end bent at a 90. I'm like, dude, if we could get that thing, that'd be cool, because we could just like put it out there and drag everything back, So Renix is like, okay, well, I'll load it up. I was like, dude, you ain't got no way to haul it. And I see a little while later, I see Renix coming around the corner, and then one of our water guys coming around the corner with him. And so they've got this massive shovel thing. And so we get over there, and we're like trying to pull everything back. And I have the metal detector right there, and Renix is like, well, why don't you just use that? I'm like, because Renix, the earth has metal in it. So when you put this in the water, it goes off all over the place. Like there's no really pinpointing anything. And he's like, okay. But anyway, we started dragging stuff back, and it got to the point where like
Renix, shut up and do what you're told.
Well, it got to the point where he's like, man, are we going to have to go in there? And of course, the lady called me and she's like, yeah, you need to serve your community. That's exactly what you should do. And so he's like looking. I was like, dude, give me your belt. Just give me your gun belt. He's like, my boots are going to be wrecked. I was like, no, you're taking your boots off. And he's like, giving me this look. He's like, for real? I was like, yeah. Wish we had some way to do that, without. And then it dawned on me, water department, he's got waiters. So I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, where are your waiters at? And he's telling me I go over to the truck to go get them, and I'm looking for them. And then I hear like this massive scream. So I'm thinking somebody fell in. His Renix had to have, because he was operating the shovel when I left. So I'm like, great, I missed it. Damn it, I should have got it on TikTok. And anyway, they water department, because the water department guy's a little taller than all the rest of us, so he was able to like get it out there, the shovel, and drag back, and he ended up getting it. He ended up finding his phone, and it still worked.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of phone was it?
I don't know. Some weird. It might have been a Samsung.
I was fixing to say the newer phones are getting to where they're more waterproof, and then if you put one of those cases on it,
oh yeah,
you're probably golden.
Speaking of, yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard of the LifeProof case, but shout out LifeProof cases, because that thing was underwater all night long. So it was almost a full 24 hours underwater by the time because it was like at 4:00 when my shift ended, going out there trying to help them find it. But it had been there and it worked.
Huh.
Worked perfectly. So.
And I always like those cases too, because they're like the OtterBox, which I don't know if you know this, but OtterBox owns LifeProof now.
Really?
But OtterBox cases like take the size of your phone and like quadruple it, where it's like 3 inches thick.
Oh yeah.
But then a LifeProof case, they were a hell of a lot thinner, just barely bigger than your phone, and they were waterproof.
Really?
And I always liked them, but I don't know. I like this one here. I just like you buy a phone and then you cover it up with everything. You can't even tell what it is. So,
well, I've always had good luck with the OtterBoxes, and I used to get the ones with the film over it, but then you get crap trapped in it. It scratches your screen. So now let's use those little liquid glass things.
Yeah, those OtterBoxes, I had the thicker ones that were like more rugged or whatever, but it seemed like the rubber always peeled off. But I mean, hell, they had good warranty. Anytime I called them, they just send me a new one. I'm like, what do I do with this old one? Throw in the trash.
Yeah. There's only a handful of companies that are pretty badass with their warranties. I think OtterBox, and then Travax wallets. And then I think you were telling me Craftsman or something is really good with their thing. Some kind of tool company.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
That was Tecton.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay, well, on to my statute.
Uh-oh.
You know how last week we had all that ice? It wasn't really snow, but it was sleet, and the roads were iced over.
Mm-hmm.
Following too closely. I mean, I'm driving, and it blows my mind because, like, for some reason, people think that I'm not a cop, even though on the tailgate of the truck it says in real big letters that I am, and then on the sides, and I've got the light bar on top, and they are like oblivious to it, and they will ride right on my butt. Well, they were doing this stuff in the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few of them that I would move over and let them pass, and then I'd turn around, turn my lights on, pull them over. Mm-hmm. And, you've got to allow following distance, but then if the roads are iced, you've got to, increase that dramatically where you're going to, cause somebody to have a collision.
Oh, yeah. 4-wheel drive doesn't mean 4-wheel stop. You're still going to friggin' slide.
Yes. Yeah, and I hear people say that, and I'm like, oh, I've got 4-wheel drive. Okay, but how are you going to stop?
Yeah, that ain't going to.
That doesn't help on ice.
Mm-mm.
And even if you've got 4-wheel drive and you're on ice, it's not going to help.
No.
it's going to make things worse. Because if you've got no traction and then all of them start spinning, it's going to be worse.
You're in a circle.
But anyway, once again, we're not attorneys, and this is for Oklahoma only. And this isn't legal advice, but following too closely says a driver of a motor vehicle shall not follow another vehicle more closely than is reasonable and prudent, having due regard for the speed of such vehicles and the traffic upon the condition of the roadway or of the highway. I was trying to think where I was going to go with that, but anyway, if you pull up in the driver's manual, it tells you about following too closely. Oh, I remember what it was. Whenever I was talking to a friend of mine that worked as a trooper, and he was saying, anytime you get into an accident when you're following too closely or you run off the road because you lost control or whatever, he goes, that's where that citation comes along for driving at speeds not reasonable and proper.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were driving slow enough, then you wouldn't have impacted the vehicle in front of you, or you wouldn't have lost control on the roadway. And there's basically like no defense to it, because how can you defend that? It's like, well, if you were driving in a proper manner on the road, then this wouldn't have happened. But like in your driver's manual, it tells you, it goes into, describing giving yourself a cushion and all this, and I tell people to use one of these and not the other one, but you can use both, where it says allow 1 car length for every 10 miles per hour of speed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People can't really see distance that well. So I tell them the other one to use the 3-second rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it says select a fixed object such as a tree, a sign, or a utility pole ahead of the car in front of you. Once the car has passed that object, you should be able to count 1001, 1002, 1003 before you pass the fixed object. And it says in bad weather or poor road conditions, increase your count to 4 seconds or longer.
Right.
So if somebody passes, a tree that's next to the road, and then you are able to count 1001 up to 3, and you've already come to that tree and passed it, then you're too dang close.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with giving good following distance. And there's one thing I figured out, or I've come to realize, the best way to piss people off when you're driving is to do the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever they got the road repaved, I'll just tell you, Hardesty Road over there.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's a racetrack now.
Mm-hmm. And,
you turn off the road and the speed limit's 45 there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you're going 45, people will get right on your butt.
Mm.
And it's like, why? What's your big hurry? And they get so mad. And then I'll be doing 45, and then somebody will pass me in a passing zone. And it's like, in order to pass me, you're going to have to go greater than the posted speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why are you doing this? So I don't understand why people, they get so angry when you're doing the speed limit.
I don't know.
And if you're running late and
it's like
you're
a
trying
suggestion. It's not really a...
Yeah. Like if you're running late and you're trying to get somewhere, even if you do like 20 over to get there, instead of you being 10 minutes late, you're going to be 9 minutes and 30 seconds late. It doesn't really change.
You're already late.
Yeah, even if instead of 10 minutes late, you're 5 minutes late, you're still late no matter what.
Still late.
So there's no reason to,
put yourself and other people in danger.
Yeah, and that's something that crawls all over me. And then we've got, okay, how I guess when we were younger, whenever you'd get insurance, I'd say it's more expensive to insure boys than girls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard a rumor that has kind of flipped. It's more expensive to insure girls now.
Really?
Well, when our oldest girl was driving, if it says 65, she's doing 65 or greater. Mm-hmm. Now, the oldest boy is driving. If it says 55, he's doing like 35.
Mm.
And Tasha will be coming home with him and he's driving. And I'm like, okay, are you guys on your way home? She's like, yes. Well, who's driving? and she'll tell me it's him, and I'm like, okay, so instead of it taking 10 minutes, it's going to be like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they all call him Grandpa because he drives slow as can be, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Right.
I mean, there's no, if he wants to go, because it says speed limit, it doesn't say speed minimum. So if he
Right.
wants to go under that, that's perfectly fine.
And see, that's when he's like just getting his driving legs underneath him too, ain't he? 'Cause
Yeah.
the oldest has been driving for a while. So I
Yeah.
mean, she's already speed racer go.
Yeah.
That's just like me though. Like I'll normally, I'm normally kicking it, and Holly's always yelling at me like, "Why are we? What? This car will go faster. It'll do 80." I'm like,
Yeah.
The speed limit, woman.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody really pays attention to that. Like, you better not. I always have to tell her. I'm like, don't, because she'll think that she's got to go fast to get there when she's late. I'm like, you're already late.
Yeah. Just not going to change anything.
No, it's not going to matter.
All right. From a stupid criminal. This guy, it's public information, and here's from the news article. His name is Scott Simon.
Scott Simon.
And the crime he was charged with was murder.
Yikes.
Okay, on May 5th, 2013, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Cuatro.
Did you know Cinco de Mayo is one of my favorite holidays?
Yes.
Have I told you why?
Beer and tacos.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times you can get Mexican beer for like $1 wherever you're going.
Really? You got this beer finding thing down to science.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Anyway, May 5th, 2013, Scott Simon inadvertently dialed 911 and was recorded saying he was going to follow Nicholas Walker in his car and kill him. Just a few minutes after the call came in, somebody followed Nicholas Walker in his car and killed him.
Holy crap.
The call led authorities to Simon, who had been captured on video having an argument with Walker that night at Waffle House. What is with Waffle Houses and people fighting?
Dude.
Afterward, you saw the video of those two chicks fighting in Waffle House, right?
Where the one throws the chair and the girl like
Blocks it. And it's
yeah.
like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
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 Afterward, police say Simon's two friends drove up alongside Walker's vehicle with Michael something driving and Ronell something firing the shots that killed the victim.
Damn it.
And those three individuals have all since been convicted of murder.
Bet. But dude, how bad do you have to fuck up hash browns for somebody to want to cap you though?
Yeah, I want to know what the argument was about.
Exactly.
At Waffle House.
This is a guy cook. We need more context. We got to Scooby-Doo this. Oh, I'll tell you what we need to do.
It says NBC Miami, so I guess it happened in Florida.
Easy enough. So we send that to Holly and Tasha. We'll know everything.
Oh,
within like 5 minutes. They can use their detection skills.
Oh, she really thinks she's a detective now. Tasha does.
Oh, yeah.
They sent her to some kind of training about, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about investigating deaths.
Mm-hmm.
And she texts me and she goes, I think I'm in the wrong room. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, this is about like deaths and stuff. And she goes, there's a bunch of cops in here. And I was like, what in the hell class are you in? And the stuff that the instructor was telling them was like stuff they teach us.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, why the hell are you at that class? So she thinks she's a damn detective now.
Oh, because she skated through one thing under the radar. She's professional now?
Yeah. And I'm like, so there was two nurses in a room full of cops.
Oh, that is never good.
I'm sure she probably got her lunch paid for that day or something.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
But that's going to be our time for today. We'll, I guess, get off here. Oh, which video was it? Was it the one where the kid locked himself in the car that we said they needed to like and comment and subscribe to get the tumblers that we were giving away? Yes, it was.
It was?
I looked it up because that's the one where the comments are at. If y'all remember, we're giving away those 5 tumblers with our logo on it. And you need to like and comment and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're wondering, I haven't posted any newer YouTube videos because they look like shit.
Yeah. So if anybody knows anybody that's like in the camera / film industry or would like to help us on the video
Yeah.
the
Like,
video. We need
send us some
cams.
cameras.
We need cameras bad. 'Cause
And, yeah, the lighting sucked, and the camera, I think, is, but
we can't white balance it. And me and Renix and Josh spent probably an hour and a half over here trying to we just ultimately decided it's the camera.
But anyway, we're going to give away those 5 tumblers, and you have to like, comment, and subscribe on that video. It was Somebody Let Me Out, I think is what I called it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But as of right now, there's only 5 comments on the video. So if nobody else comments on it, it's going to be those 5 people. Well, actually, I think there's 5 comments, but they were made by 4 people. So if there's not, because somebody asked us, I guess, here recently on Facebook about it, and the person that asked us didn't even comment on the YouTube video. So,
yeah, I've seen that comment. I know that guy.
Yeah, but anyway, there's only 4 people that are eligible right now, and if that's it, then those 4 will be the one doing it. And I think we'll do it the last Monday of the month.
Last Monday?
Yeah.
5th Monday of the month.
But, and then there's an issue with it. Jared that's printing them up for us.
Yeah.
He's moving, so he's packing his stuff.
Great.
And he's got his printer packed up, or his engraver or whatever.
Oh, man.
So I don't know when he'll be able to get to it, but we'll keep everybody informed.
Okay.
But anyway, that's enough for this. Y'all don't forget, we've also got a Patreon. You can also subscribe on our website now, code05.co. They have like a thing where you can make donations. And if y'all could do that, I mean,
it'd greatly help us.
Yeah, anything helps.
Especially in the camera department.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get off here. And you guys, thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.